Hello everybody, this is Miles Luigi, and this is the video commentary showcase walkthrough, whatever in the world you want to call it, of the Pre-Hooktail Pit of 100 Trials run in Paper Mario and the Thousand Year Door. Just to let everyone know, this will be an incredibly informative walkthrough, although I guarantee you things will start to get a little silly later on, so don't worry, there'll be still humorous moments, but I intend on making this as informative as possible. First off, what in the world is Pre-Hooktail Pit of 100 Trials? Well, it's where you happen to defeat Bow and Tail, the boss of the Pit of 100 Trials, before you even defeat Hooktail, the basically first boss of the game. So basically you're taking the extra boss of the game and defeating him before you defeat the first boss of the game. It's incredibly tricky because you are incredibly limited on your crystal star power, only have 2 partners, and just are incredibly limited by the supplies you're able to get. However, by showcasing this, I hope I can at least give some people some insight to how this works, how people are actually able to do it. No, it's not just people being super guarding gods, but I will just let people know you do need to have, at the very least, a modest, at least mediocre super guarding ability to do it. If you can't super guard, you're not going to make it through this run. But with that, figured since we're going to be going through the first 10 floors of this video, and the first 10 floors aren't outstanding, I figured I'd take a chance to talk about the preparations to this run. The only requirement is that you defeat Hooktail before, or you defeat Bow and Tail before you even fight Hooktail. There isn't anything out of bounds. Some Paper Mario players like making the danger badges out of bounds because they are game-breaking in some ways, and some players, for example, like challenging themselves with no items or whatever. You would be insane to challenge yourself in any way, shape, or form in this run, and you should use everything at your disposal, including the ever so lovely Mega Rush Partner Badge, which we will be seeing a lot in this run. Just a lot. It's like the backbone of being able to do this without being a super guarding true master. You still need super guard, by the way. I will definitely get into Mega Rush P and maintain it another time, but I want to concentrate a little bit more on the preparation at this point. Since the only mission here is to defeat Bow and Tail before you can fight Hooktail, you obviously want to get everything that you're able to possibly get in the game. In my case, I actually spent about 3 hours preparing for this. I showcased my items earlier. Probably the only quintessential items is, if you can get it, 2 shooting stars and some POW blocks. But the rest of the distribution of items honestly doesn't matter terribly. Obviously some healing items would be nice, super shrooms or stuff like that, but I guess however you want to distribute your items, I just recommend 2 shooting stars if you can do it, and 2 POW blocks. It'll become self-evident once we get very late into the Pit of 100 Trials just how obscenely useful those items will be. As to how to get 2 shooting stars, you can get shooting stars by getting them from the shop. You can't actually buy them. Whenever you buy something from the shop, you get shop points. Certain shopkeepers already explained this to you. At, I think it's 50 shop points, you get a shooting star. That's how I actually got my first shooting star, was from the 50 shop points. The second shooting star I happen to get from Luigi from the audience. It's completely luck-based, but occasionally when Luigi's in the audience, or sometimes even a Toad, because I've seen a Toad also give shooting stars, the audience members will sometimes throw items at you, and in my case, I just got incredibly lucky that Luigi tossed a shooting star to Mario. Other than that, the only other way to get a second shooting star without relying on luck is to build up shop points for until you actually reset the shop point system, and that, well, that'd probably take my preparations up from 3 hours to 5 or 6 hours. This is one of the few cases where I would say that would be worth it, because the second shooting star is really, really worth it. Outside of the items, you want to pick up all the badges you can possibly get. This includes a couple from Dazzle. Unfortunately, of course, you can't just pick up everything from Dazzle. Though no, that would make everything too easy. You're able to get up to 15 star pieces, which means you can buy a couple of badges from Dazzle. Actually, everything of his, because his most expensive badges are 15 star pieces, is open to you. The conventional wisdom, and the way I'm doing it, is buying Heart Finder, Item Hog, and Pretty Lucky. All of them just greatly help in this run because Heart Finder, as we will get into once I start talking about Mega Rush P, just complements Mega Rush P incredibly well later on. Item Hog is another badge that happens to complement the Mega Rush P pretty well, and it's also a great way to make good use of a strange stack you get on floor 50 of the Pit of 100 Trials. And last but not least, pretty lucky because I'm the luckiest bastard on the face of the earth, and you want to be the luckiest bastard on the face of the earth when you do this run too. Actually, the luck badges are your only form of defense here because before you fight Hooktail, you can't even get a single damage dodge or defend plus or feed down the up badge, so you can't, there's no way to increase Mario's defense. You don't even have power lift to do that. You will be soaking in tons of damage, and the only way to mitigate that is through luck badges. And by golly, do I get lucky later on. Anyway, in my case, I actually bought all the badges except FP Drain from the lovely Hose of Badges. That does take a little bit of grinding, but as I said before, this only took about 3 hours worth of preparation, which when you consider the normal player takes about an hour, maybe a little bit more, to get through the first chapter of the game. Isn't too bad. It's not like I went on a super grind fest. If you are in a badge hunting mood, you can certainly fight some enemies and pray to God for some good badge drops. If I decided to badge hunt, but honestly I didn't have the time to do it. The ones I would have my eyes on are the danger related badges, specifically close calls from Goombas or power rushes from Koopa Troopas. Depending on your point of view, you might be interested in happy hearts from Koopa Troopas. The way you badge hunt is quite simple. You fight enemies till they're holding the badge, then defeat them, and then pray to God they drop the badge. You don't have Miss Mouse quite at this point yet. Last but not least, on your preparations, you are able to get enough Shine Sprites to super rank one of your partners, and conventional wisdom says to go with Goombella, because you get more out of it. With Goombella, she gets 20 HP and most importantly, multi-bonk, compared to Koops, who gets a 1-point attack increase and Shell Shield. And it's just always been conventional wisdom, at least in my understanding, to always go super ranking with Goombella because that multi-bonk is going to save you quite a bit more often than Shell Shield will, honestly. I suppose I might as well mention it before I totally forget to mention it here. That's really about you can prepare for, unless you decide to grind forever for badge hunting or whatever. There isn't too much going for you, so it'll be up to your wits, and yep, very good wits here. Don't pick up the heart. I'll explain why later on. Now, I am recording this on the Dolphin emulator, playing it with a joypad. I'm not doing this with a keyboard. And the reason for that is, if this run is successful, it takes a long time. In my case, it actually took 6 hours. It's quite a long run, and I'm actually going to tell you right now, I goofed up twice. I died. I think it was on the exact same floor, too. It's one of the 60 floors to Frost Piranhas out of all enemies. Which is just incredibly dumb, and if I actually was playing on some real console and fudged up there, I would be incredibly angry. Here, just a little battle strategy, I'm like, oh my gosh, that is a really useful item. I tried using one of the items in my inventory before the audience member threw it to me, and it just didn't work out. It would have been phenomenal to get that power punch, but it didn't work out. Earlier, I'm, of course, the luckiest bastard on the face of the earth for getting a pretty lucky. Guarantee you, you will be seeing that later on. So with that, the first 10 floors are done. That wasn't very difficult, and hey look, Charlieton is here. If it wasn't for the fact that I already have a decent item inventory right now, some coins, I might have actually bought something like that. Thunder Rage would have been an incredible thing to buy, but I didn't have the coins. I sold enough Sleepy Sheep, I didn't want to do that anymore. Our reward is Sleepy Stomp, and I will see you on floors 11 through 20 next time.